Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there stood a magnificent castle atop a hill, surrounded by the luscious gardens and sparkling streams. The castle's tall towers reached up toward the sky, their tips glowing under the gentle light of the moon. This was the castle of Emerald Winds, and inside its grand walls lived a kind-hearted prince named Alexander and his sister, the gentle Princess Elara. The two siblings were known throughout the land for their courage and kindness. Alexander, with his golden hair and brave spirit, was always ready to help those in need. Elara, with her long, flowing auburn hair and soft, sparkling eyes, was known for her wisdom and her love of nature. Together, they ruled over the kingdom with fairness and grace. But the castle of Emerald Winds was no ordinary place. Hidden deep in its vast gardens was an ancient, secret forest where magic bloomed. Among the towering trees and fragrant flowers lived tiny, shimmering fairies. These fairies were as small as a butterfly and had delicate wings that glowed in soft hues of pink, blue, and gold. They fluttered about, sprinkling magic wherever they went, making the gardens always bloom with the brightest colors. One evening, as the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the land, something unusual happened. The sky turned a deep emerald green, and a soft wind whispered through the trees. Princess Elara, standing on her balcony, noticed the strange light and called out to her brother, "Alexander, come quickly. The sky is glowing green. Something magical must be happening." Alexander rushed to his sister's side, his eyes wide with curiosity. "You're right, Elara. This is no ordinary sunset. I feel it too. There's magic in the air." Just then, a group of the tiny fairies appeared, fluttering and twinkling like stars in the evening sky. The leader of the fairies, a tiny creature with silver wings named Seraphina, landed on Elara's shoulder and spoke in her soft, musical voice. "Princess Elara, Prince Alexander, we need your help," Seraphina said. "The green dragon of the northern mountains has awakened from his long sleep, and he is confused. He doesn't remember that he is a friend of this land. We fear he make us harm if we don't remind him of who he truly is." Alexander's eyes widened. "The green dragon? The one from the old stories?" "Yes," Seraphina said. "The green dragon is a protector of the kingdom, but his long slumber has made him forget. He now roams the skies, unsure of his purpose." Princess Elara stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. "We must help him remember. He is part of this kingdom, and we cannot let him remain lost." The fairies nodded in agreement. But be careful, Serafina warned. The dragon may be scared and confused. You'll need to show him kindness and courage. And so Alexander and Elara, with Serafina and the other fairies guiding them, set out on a journey to the northern mountains, where the green dragon was last seen. The path was long, winding through the enchanted forest and over sparkling rivers, but the prince and princess were determined. As they traveled, the fairies sprinkled their magic dust over the path, lighting their way in soft glows of pink and gold. The trees whispered ancient secrets as they passed, and the wind carried songs of old adventures. The night was peaceful, and the air was cool, but there was a sense of urgency in their hearts. They knew they had to reach the dragon before he caused any harm. After a long journey, they finally arrived at the foot of the northern mountains. High above them, flying in the emerald sky, was the green dragon. His scales shimmered like jewels, and his wings stretched wide, casting great shadows over the land. He was beautiful, but there was a sadness in his eyes. He looks lost, Elara whispered. Alexander nodded. We must remind him of his true self. With Serafina by their side, they approached the dragon. Elara called out softly, her voice filled with warmth and kindness. Green dragon, mighty protector of the kingdom, do you remember us? We are your friends, and this land is your home. The dragon paused mid-flight, his large green eyes focusing on the small figures below him. He flew lower, his wings creating a gentle breeze as he circled them. But his expression was one of confusion. I don't remember, the dragon said in a deep, rumbling voice. I woke from a long sleep, and everything seems different. Who am I? Where do I belong? Elara stepped forward, her hand outstretched toward the dragon. You are the green dragon of the northern mountains. Long ago, you promised to protect this land. You kept the skies clear and the forest safe. We are here to help you remember. Serafina flew up to the dragon's head, her tiny wings glowing softly. You saved the kingdom once, when darkness threatened to take over. Your heart is kind, and your strength is unmatched. You are not alone. The dragon blinked, his eyes softening as memories slowly began to return. I remember flying over the castle, watching over the people below. I remember the fairies and their magic. I remember the trees and the rivers. This land, it is my home. Yes, Alexander said with a smile, and we are your friends. You belong here with us. The dragon lowered his head, his great wings folding in as he landed gently on the ground. "I have been asleep for so long. I was afraid I had forgotten everything." Elara stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on the dragon's shimmering scales. "You haven't forgotten. You are still the brave protector of this kingdom. And now that you are awake, you can continue to watch over us." The dragon smiled, his heart filled with warmth and gratitude. "Thank you, Princess Elara, Prince Alexander. You have reminded me of who I truly am." The fairies who had been watching quietly now fluttered around the dragon, their wings sparkling like tiny stars. Serafina smiled. "All is well again. The green dragon has returned to his place in the kingdom." As the night grew darker, the fairies began to weave their magic, creating a soft, glowing path that would guide the dragon back to his home in the mountains. "Rest now, green dragon," Serafina said gently. "The kingdom is safe, and you are where you belong." With a final, grateful nod, the green dragon spread his great wings and took to the sky once more. But this time, there was no confusion in his flight. He soared gracefully through the night, his emerald scales shimmering under the light of the moon. Alexander and Elara watched as the dragon disappeared into the distance, their hearts full of peace. "We did it," Alexander said softly. "The dragon is home," Elara smiled, her hand resting on her brother's shoulder. "Yes, and the kingdom is safe once more." As they made their way back to the castle of Emerald Winds, the fairies fluttered around them, their soft light guiding the way. The night was quiet, the stars twinkling high above, and the wind whispered gently through the trees. By the time they reached the castle, the moon was high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the land. The fairies bid the prince and princess goodnight, flying back to their secret garden where they would rest until the next adventure. Alexander and Elara, tired from their journey, stood on the castle balcony, looking out over their peaceful kingdom. The green dragon was back in his mountains, and the land was safe. "Good night, Elara," Alexander said softly. "May your dreams be filled with magic." "Good night, Alexander," Elara replied, smiling up at the stars. "And may we always remember the magic in our hearts." And so, under the gentle light of the moon, the prince and princess drifted off to sleep, their hearts filled with peace, knowing that the green dragon and the fairies were watching over their enchanted kingdom. The end.